On the Clock is back with the first episode since the NHL draft with Blue Chip Prospect and the Prospect Dawn. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to go one by one for every team's draft class and see how they did. How you doing, Blue Chip?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. The
How
draft
the
was
draft?
awesome. It
Yeah.
was great. I knew you were asking that question. In your mind. But yeah,
I
it was
see that.
awesome experience. The food was great the first day. Day two, we had some like Lay's in a bag and popcorn. I think there's some people that kind of were upset. I think I gained like 3 pounds, but my suit did still fit. So
Yeah, cool.
yeah, it was awesome. I got like free waters, and I was just like stacking them up. Like it was all. I got to interview Anton Frundell. Like I saw McQueen. He said hey to me, which was cool, even though he's like 7 feet tall. I don't like. It's crazy. And now we're starting with the Ducks
Yeah,
because
basically.
it was the first alphabetical number or letter in the
Yeah. Great
in
number.
Elite Prospects.
The number
Yeah.
8.
And 95. What about that? Yeah, great number. A for 8. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Roger McQueen is now number 95, which is awesome because of Lightning McQueen. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I have you ever watched those movies? Have you watched the car movies?
Yeah, I saw them. Not that I necessarily remember everything in it. I'm not like a big fan of the Disney stuff and all these things, but I know obviously who Flash McQueen is, like everybody else. And I saw the picture of him with the 95 jersey on, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was sick. But let's start with their draft class. What do you think, from a grade standpoint, you would grade the Anaheim Ducks draft
You
class?
want to do grades like A, B, C, D, E, and F, or just like
An
A, B,
8.
C, A, B, C?
A B C D 8 F. Yeah. I think we should do that.
I think, well,
Definitely.
First thing first, at number 10, getting Roger McQueen.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's the whole injury thing, and that's been the theme for the whole season, and we've repeated over and over again. But we don't have like all the information. At least I don't. So it's hard for me to judge how far or how much his injury will impact him. But I feel like getting Roger McQueen at number 10 is fantastic. It's very great value. Obviously, if everything goes well, if the back is not too injured or it's not recurrent or anything like that. But getting a player of that size and that skill that can skate like him, shoot like him, pass like him, it's great. And they have a solid top 6. They have big bodies in there with Seneca coming up. They already have McTavish, Carson, Cutter Gauthier. Now they're adding Roger McQueen. Like, they're all gonna be like 6'5" and more. So it's gonna be a hard team to play against. And it's not like he's just big; he's also very skilled. So I think it's a very good pick. Outside of that, there's not any other pick that I'm really excited by. Like, I know a lot of people like Eric Nilsson. Like, I like him too, but is he special? Is he something you're excited by at getting at 45? Not in my case. Outside of that, Emile Guité at number 159, which is a good bet. Like, the guy was seen as maybe a future first round last year. It did not work out at all. People were thinking like he has a very good shot, but he didn't score whatsoever, and everybody was expecting a lot of production out of him. But like, you're still getting a guy with a high end shot, and maybe he figures it out next year in the QMJHL and it works out. Maybe he doesn't. But I would say overall, it's probably a B plus, maybe. Something like that, B plus or A minus because of Roger McQueen, but the rest, the 45 and the 60, are not necessarily my favorite picks.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. I was going to say B plus, so I wish I went first. But yeah, when I saw at 159 Emile Gouti, who is obviously the correct pronunciation for that,
Yes,
I would say
yes, for sure.
when I heard you say it, I was like, I can't repeat that. I liked this guy during summer scouting. I thought he was going to be a lot higher than 159. I think he was going to probably be a couple rounds earlier. But obviously they get him, and I think it's a little more of a steal. That was kind of him and Drew Shock. I really did like the values there. You take a swing at 104 with the goalie. I have heard a lot about him, but it's just like
I haven't. So.
It's more of a you have to take a goalie swing in every class. I think a lot of teams did that. Mainly it's more 5, 6, or 7 round if you're not taking a top goalie. So 4th round is just an earlier swing. But the thing is, like, Nilsson and McQueen, I would say, are the 2 prizes of this class. Really, Roger McQueen is the prize because he could be one of the highest upsides in the entire class. Very Pat Verbeek, very Beckett Seneca, which is interesting that they also picked him. But 6'5", has so much skill, great hands, great feet. I feel like the back injury was a little overblown. I think that this guy's going to be one of the highest sellers for rookie jerseys in the entire class as well. But you can market him pretty well, and I think he's going to be able to become a top 6 player for your team. I think Eric Nilsson slots more in the 3rd line for them. Maybe that's exciting for some because it's more projectable, but he does have some upside, but I just don't know how much. Everything else here, like Noah Reed or Drew Schock, I think it's just they could have. It's very hard to hit on 3rd, 4th round, 5th round picks, so they did a good job. Sure. So yeah, you had to take Roger McQueen there.
Basically, Roger McQueen is carrying the class for them.
Yeah,
that's the reason why they're getting a B+. Everything else, like you said, Eric Nilsson is fine. It's not that it's a bad player. It's just nothing else is exciting in there. So I feel like we can just go to the next one.
Yep.
And we're gonna go with the Boston Bruins, and I'll let you start with that one since I started the other one.
Yeah. So clearly, James Hagens was awesome to get for them. They needed a center. I think that this was just the clear best thing that you could have done at that spot. I had him at my 3rd overall player. I think that James Hagens just fits in well with his organization. Obviously, you get William Moore at 51, which I think is an absolute steal. Liam Pettersson is a good pick. I think that they left some value on the board there, but obviously if they just traded for Soderstrom, which is also a Swedish defenseman, so maybe they see, maybe they saw something in him as well. Cooper Simpson is somebody that I do really like as well. I thought going to 79 was a little of an overreaction to some of his weaknesses. I think that Cooper Simpson could be an NHL player, maybe middle or maybe bottom 6, but I still think that was a good value. Other than that, they took some swings 4, 5, and 6. There's a very low percentage that those guys will play 200 games in the NHL, but I think that they did really good in the first 3 rounds. I do really like that James Hagens pick. I think William Moore dropped way too far. I think this guy has a ton of upside. He was trending to be a top 20 pick in this class, kind of in summer scouting as well as November. So to get him at 51 is a pretty good value. James Hagens was supposed to be the number 1 pick, so they took a lot of that guy fell, I'm going to take him. Same with Cooper Simpson. So
how would you grade it?
I would say also a B+. I don't necessarily. They did great with what they had. So, I'm going to say
for me,
yeah
go
I'm
ahead.
going to say B+, but a higher B+ than the Ducks. It's better than the Ducks. Yeah.
Well, it's a bit how I see it. I think I would give them an A- because I think James Hagens he's a very dynamic player. So I think he has more chance to be a sure shot top 6 player, very offensively driven player. He definitely has point per game type of upside. Obviously Roger McQueen does have that too. I don't think he's as likely to get there though. James Hagens is very, very skilled. He's on a different level when it comes to skills, but he's 5'10", 5'11". But anyway, they're getting a centerman with a lot of skills at number 7 that you can compare with the Logan Cooley of this world and stuff like that. So it's very good value. I personally like a lot William Moore. I had him at number 26 or 25 in my board. So for them to get him at number 51, I don't know how he falls all the way to 51, but he did. So good for them. So that's 2 centers right there. Maybe one placed it on the wing. It doesn't matter. But William Moore can be a solid 3rd-line center in the future. Liam Pettersson, like you said, I think they're leaving a little bit of value on the board there. And after that, Cooper Simpson at 79. It's a player that has top 6 tools. Does he get there? We don't know, obviously, or he wouldn't be taken in the third round. But I feel like it's a very, very good swing. Like you have nothing to lose at 79, right? And you get a guy that has decent frames, like 6'1", something like that. Very good skater, very good shot, good vision, good hands. Like he has a lot going for him. Need to polish his game overall, but I mean, he's coming out of high school, so like anybody coming out of high school need to polish his game, so that's fine. So for me, it's an A minus. It's like a touch above not San Jose, but Anaheim.
Yeah, so we both agree that it's definitely a touch above.
Yeah.
It's like right there from an A minus. I don't want to give A's out so much, but
it's
B
okay.
plus plus.
It doesn't mean at the end. It doesn't mean that at the end all this will be relevant. It doesn't mean that like maybe I'll have a B plus somewhere or a B that's actually preferred than my B plus that I gave to Anaheim. I don't know. It's just from one team to the other. I don't know. We give grades. That's it. It's on the fly, so you can make mistake. So all right. So we have Buffalo Sabres that picked at number 9. Radim Merca is probably what they needed. Is it a sexy pick? No. They also they traded, so they already have a right shot D that they got from the Mammoth. So basically they went right shot D with Bedkowski too at number 71. Obviously very different type of player. He's not as skilled, doesn't have the same skating, but he's basically almost just as big. He's like 6'4", 6'5", very, very physical. But Merca is, for me, carrying that whole class for them. I don't like much of what they took. I like Bedkowski in the third round. That's fine. He's at best a number 6 or number 5 in the NHL, like at the very best. Radim Merca could be a future top pair defenseman, or he could be a future top 4 defenseman. But one way or another, you're getting a giant, smooth skating player with skills that's 6'6" that can play on your right side. So that's a lot of value. And if they were going with a guy like William Eklund, I think I would have exploded or something like that. It's like they have to stop like always thinking the best player available, and at some point they have to build a team, and I think that's where they're going right now.
Yeah, I really liked Radim Merca. Obviously, he's one of my favorite guys. I think that you always were going to see him top 10, just 6'6" and a quarter right-handed defenseman with that much skill and defensive prowess, playing against adults since he was 16. I really just do like Radim Merca. This class you don't really have to talk about much. David Bukowski I really liked. I rode the shuttle with him to the Uber area after the airport. His tattoo is awesome. His dad was mad at him that he got it. I thought it was really funny. He got drafted by Buffalo, and we met obviously at the Combine, and he was very excited to talk to a security guard named Joe, and I really did like him too. He has long white hair, but I said blonde there. I was a total fool by me. But I will say David Bukowski is going to be an NHL player, in my opinion. This guy just has the size. And the last name I just want to touch on is Melvin Novotny. I thought that he should not have been in the 7th round. I did like him a lot more. Obviously, I think he should have went in the late 4th, early 5th round. But that's just picking. That's just, a little bit of that doesn't really matter because your shot to make it to the NHL playing 200 games is still a long shot. But I did think Melvin Novotny showed a lot more than his draft ranking. So other than that, they didn't really have a lot of high value picks. A lot after the pick 100, they only had 2 before then. So they did good with what they had. Took some shots. They took that goalie Prokhorov. I think you have to take a goalie every single year. But other than that, I think that it's just Radim Merca.
We didn't take a goalie in 2 years.
Yeah.
And they got Prokhorov, but they didn't take the right Prokhorov.
No. I think they did take the right Prokhorov, but imagine Philly accidentally said the wrong Prokhorov and drafted him in the 2nd round. That would have been funny.
Well, what's your grade for that? I didn't say my grade, but for me, I think it's like a B minus or something like that.
I would say B.
B minus is pretty much, I agree with that. Let's jump to Calgary. And Calgary had 2 pick in the 1st round. It's your turn.
I like this.
Yeah, me too.
Rezhny Potter, really good value. Can you just think about getting Rezhny and Potter in the 1st round? I thought if you're the Blackhawks, that's kind of who you thought I would draft,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
2 under 6 foot forwards. But Calgary can do that with their prospect pool, which is get anybody you can. Colin Potter was great. I was very surprised, about Maceo Phillips going to 80. I like Theo. Theo's good. Aiden Lane was cool to get in the 6th round, but again, like long shots after the 3rd round. I think Maceo Phillips is going to be an absolute steal. He's going to play very well with the Golden Gophers next year, in my opinion, with Jacob Rombach, who is one of my favorite guys, and he got drafted 35, so shout out him because I really liked his game this year. I would just say, this is probably a B+. It's trending to A-, but you don't have that elite guy. I think you got a lot of pieces in this class. Cole Rezhny, no one helped his stock more than him the last 2 months of the season. Colin Potter showed that he can play against men in the NCAA. Maceo Phillips is going to be playing there. So, I would give this a B+. What do you think?
I agree with that. I think I look at those names and I can see 5 potential NHL players in there. Like Cole Rezhny, Colin Potter is very good. Obviously, they are small player. They are player that are more on the skill side than the hard side and stuff like that. But I love Cole Rezhny. I love Colin Potter. Even though I had Colin Potter a little lower, like 27 in my ranking, it's just because of the 5'9.5" thing. But the guy is still an amazing skater with a very good shot. Tried to place the inside. Very good hands. Very dynamic overall. But to get both, you're gonna have one that's probably going to hit into your top 6. I think it's fantastic. When I saw that, I was like, that's really, really cool for them that they get both Cole Rezhny and Colin Potter. And then in the 2nd round, they go with Theo Staxialius, which is a much bigger guy. He's like 6'3" or something like that. Very different type of player, but still a guy that you can project in an NHL bottom 6. Maceo Phillips, who is probably a 3rd pair type of D, but a guy that can hurt, a guy that can play very physically. And then you have Aiden Lane, who I think is a very good a good swing in the 6th round for a player that does have skill, has a hard shot, can skate well enough, good hands, decent size too at 6'1". So I really like what they did with what they had. They didn't have a top 15 pick or anything like that, and they still got out of there with significant skills. So yeah, I would go B+, A- if there was something between that. That's where I would land.
B++ is
yes,
in the middle.
B++. All right, next one, Carolina.
All right, the team that's taken 18 Russians in the last 4 years. What do you think?
And there's the 18 you said.
18 Russians.
Is that a real number? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
It looks like that, right? And every name that you see is a name that you thought they were probably going to take, except of Charlie Serrato, which is
I was shocked at that.
yeah, in the 2nd round. But when I was watching the end of the 2nd day, and I saw that Philip Ekberg wasn't taken by 215 or something like that, and I saw that they took him at 220. I was like, if there's one team who's going to take Philip Ekberg now, it's going to be Carolina. Same thing with Ivan Ryabkin. They don't care about the issues with
Character,
character. I was looking at for the word in English, so they don't seem to care about the character issues. Semyon Frolov, very good goalie, very highly rated by a lot of people. I think it's very good value. Like Kurban Limetov, I have him number 30 or 31 in my ranking, and they got him at number 6. Is that 67? I don't have my glasses, so numbers get mixed up a little bit. But yeah, man. I mean, even Roman Bosov, I think the guy from Puck Bunkers, they have him somewhere close to the 1st round or in the 1st round, something like that. So, it's a lot of value. Ivan Ryabkin can be a very good 3rd-line center or winger with physically and with skills. Frolov, good goalie. Limitov can really move. He's aggressive on the puck and without the puck. Philip Ekberg, you saw what he did at the U18s. It was not as good in the OHL, but I mean, maybe next year he explodes a little bit. I feel it's considering where they were taking these players, they didn't have a pick before the 41st pick. I would give that a B+ probably.
I really like what they did trading back from 29 to get 34 and 62, and then flipping 34 for 41 and like another pick. I mean, they just know how to work a draft. You get value based on the value that you're given. Getting Frolov, who is supposed to be a first-round pick in some people's eyes, getting Ivan Ryabkin, 62, which a lot of people thought could be a top 10 pick in this class 12 months ago. Kerman Limitov, who is a top 40 player in my opinion. I don't know how he fell that far. Philip Ekberg is at least a second or third round player in my book. Obviously, all of these guys had weaknesses, and that's why they fell. But the thing is, I think Charlie Serrato was a funny pick for them because that was kind of completely off the board of what we thought the Canes were going to do.
Yeah.
But they obviously saw something in him. I think they left a lot of value off the board, but it's the Canes. So whoever they pick is probably going to be good. I think that this is this is going to be my first A, which is an A-. I think that going from 29, getting all those picks, and then going to picking first 41 and still getting a first round talent in multiple areas is I thought they did a really good job. So,
and then they cancel all of this by trading Scott Moreau at first and second, and paying Miller $7.5 million for 8 years.
Can I ask? Can you grade that trade for me?
Well, I think New York did very well. That's for sure. And I don't in 5 years from now or 3 years from now, is there a significant difference between Scott Morrow and Kandra Miller? I don't know. Like the Morrow
contract.
The contract. But I mean, on the ice, it's like Kandra Miller is like, you look at him and you want him to be a certain type of player. You want him to first bring the offensive side that he has, but you want him to bring more physicality. But he's a very good skater. He has so much going for him, but he doesn't know how to use it all at the same time. And so he's like what? He's like 25 now, something like that. So
yeah, he's 25. Morrow's 22.
Yeah, so I don't think he will figure out how to put it all together. He's still going to be like a little bit of inconsistent type of player, but I don't know. I feel it's crazy. I don't. When I saw that Carolina did that, I was like, how did Carolina did that? Like, I would understand, like Philadelphia did that or something like that, but no. But I mean, I don't want to be mean or anything. It's just Carolina usually. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. It doesn't sound Carolina at all.
That is not
C-.
a winning organization trade. I have no idea why they did that. I'm going to give that A for the Rangers, a C- for the Canes, because that also includes the contract, which, like, what is going on? Miller? Like, what? Okay, whatever.
I mean, Provorov just got signed for $8.5 million. So I mean, things are just crazy. Like,
yeah, but that's $8.5 million, and you keep a first and a second over,
exactly.
Like, what?
Yeah. Obviously, there's a major difference. But I'm saying is contracts are maybe a little bit all over the place. But if you ask me, Noah Dobson at 9.5 or Kandra Miller at 7.5,
yeah,
I'm good. So
why didn't they just go for Dobson? Like, seriously. I mean, okay. Dobson did want to go to the Habs. I get that.
Yeah, that's true.
But, that's an interesting one. And congratulations to all Habs fans out there. I wanted to just say that. You guys had an unbelievable weekend. I feel like the Habs are next on top, and I think that I will say this. They are going to be the first Canadian team to bring back the Cup in like 30 years. It's not going to be the Oilers. It's going to be the Habs.
In 30 years or in the last 30 years?
No, in 30.
But I feel similar. Maybe it could be in Edmonton. You never know with a McDavid and a Draisaitl, obviously. But I think if there's a team that can do it consistently, or at least compete consistently year after year for the foreseeable future, is probably going to be the Habs. But I sound very biased because I am very biased. So.
And now to the team I'm very biased on.
Yes.
we have the
I'll
Chicago
let you start with
Blackhawks.
that.
Yeah, A++. No. We got the best. We had, in my book, one of the best first rounds that anyone could have because of our prospect pool. Like, in terms of value prospect pool, obviously we traded a lot to get Mason West, but this guy is so awesome. He didn't even know it was his draft year. Because he was a junior in high school, so he actually didn't think it was his draft year. He's a really good hockey IQ. If you watch some of his highlights, even though he only played a couple games at Fargo, this dude has eyes in the back of his head. You can tell he's a quarterback. Very good passer. His puck handling, it seems like he hasn't figured that kind of out. It looks like he's more of a elite beer league player puck handling. Like, this guy has so much potential because he's not all in hockey yet and he's doing what he's doing. I think it's just a clear slam dunk. I'm going to go to Vaslav next. I was sitting next to Muskegon Lumberjacks broadcaster as we were picking Vaslav, and he screamed out, and I just shook. I was like, let's go. Like, we were so excited because Vaslav Nestrasil is an absolute beast. He has a 6'6" frame. He's been doing, between the leg moves since he was 9 years old. He skated past Anton Frandell and made him fall time and time again when they were like 9 to 14 years old. This guy was schooling Anton. I think Vaslav has so much potential. Obviously, I always say this guy was one of my best interviews this year. 4 brothers. One got drafted in the 3rd round of the Red Wings. This guy's grown up around hockey. I think that his offensive ability is going to show. And then Anton Frandell is just an absolute beast. I feel like this was a guy that should have been a top 5 pick. I probably, when it's all said and done, is he the most power forward of everybody that was in the top 5? Yeah, probably. If Porter Martone just used his body more and played more of an Anton Frandell game, then yeah, you take Porter Martone. But there's skating issues there. There's some other things, and he fell down to 6, not 4 or 5. So I do feel like Anton probably was the best fit for what the Blackhawks are doing. They wanted more floor as well as that upside with that shot and that heavy slap shot that he has too. He's going to be able to play on the same line as Bedard, I believe. He said... They asked what position he wants to be. He said whatever Bedard's not. And I truly love that because this guy knows that he wants to play with Bedard. So then Nathan Bem, like you had said, I think Cam Robinson had him 45 or something on his board. Obviously, it was more of a value pick. But like you said, I'm going to steal what you had said. So this is all blue chip. But this guy has top 6 skill. If he's not necessarily in the top 6, I would be a little worried in my end because this guy's going to be a very skilled third-line player. That would be awesome. But we have a lot of those, so I would have liked defensemen. I would have liked David Butkowski or somewhere in that range, Maceo Phillips, Limitov. But we didn't go that way. We went Ashton Cumby, who is Ashton Cumby. And then we went, which I have no idea. Like, he could be good. Parker Holmes played pretty well in the OHL. He had 1 goal in 21 games, 0 assists. A lot of upside, but those guys, they are just lotto tickets that could be better. I like that Parker Holmes only had a couple games under his belt in the OHL and didn't really play a lot. So you have upside. The goalie that we took in the 7th round, I don't really know much about him. I didn't really watch a lot, so he had like a 9.43 save percentage, and he was an overager, so maybe he is good. I like that. I just definitely like taking goalies every round or every draft, every round. So
every single round.
I'll give this. Yeah, every round you take a goalie. Like trade back in, but I would say this would be a A-. I do think that this is an A- draft just because Anton Frandell, you can't go wrong. Vaslav, West, get a lot of upside. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like everybody knows, at least anybody who will listen to me before know that I'm not necessarily the biggest Anton Frandell guy, but it's not like I don't understand why he would be picked there. I think Caleb Denoyer would have been probably better in my opinion because I have Caleb Denoyer 3rd and I have Anton Frandell 10th, but they are like But they are they are close. Stop it. They are close. Like Anton Frandel has a special element in his game. You could put him on the flank or in the bumper, and you have a 30-goal scorer right there, right? Just because of his shot. Is he a great skater? No. Is he a great battler on the board? Much better in the second half than he was in the first half. He does have size. He's heavy on the puck. Like, he does a lot of good things. He tracks back on defense. So it's not like he's a bad player whatsoever. It's just he doesn't have, outside of his shot, which there's a lot of very good shooter. Like, take Cole Arzeman from last year. He was an amazing shooter. He still went like 19th or something like that. So it's just he doesn't have another element in his game that really pops, that really makes you think like, yes, that guy's a top 5. But I mean, maybe it's a home run. Like, maybe he's a Anton Lundell. Maybe he's more than that. I don't know. We'll see. But I still like the player. Like, I really like his ability to bring the puck from the board to the inside. So that's really good. Vaclav Nestrasil, you've mocked him there for like 200 times in the last month. So when it came out, it's the first thing I thought of was to actually tag you in the post that I made, because I was like, I'm sure this guy's just screaming all over the place. Mason West, very good bet. Like you said, it's like he's very raw. He makes me think of a guy like Sam Renza. I think I told you that before, but obviously different position, but the same type of rawness. So like there's upside there. Maybe those two players end up being in middle 6 or in your bottom 6, but they're still like, they're not players that will only play in your top 6, and if they don't, then they're useless. No, they will be a fantastic player in your bottom 6 too. So there's a lot of value there. Nathan Bem is a guy with a good shot, decent size. Like you said, he's top 6 or probably doesn't play. I'm not sure if he plays at all, but I mean, I like him. Like, he's a guy that I had in my second round. Julius Sumpf is a guy that I think I heard his name for the last like 5 years. I can't remember. I don't know how old he is, but I feel like every game that I've watched, I heard his name. How old is he? He's 20 years old. Yeah. So yeah. So it's a bet. And outside of that, I don't know much about the other one, so I cannot really talk. But I feel like it's solid B plus A minus, because the first round is a very good first round in my opinion. The rest is not as good as I would have liked, but I think the number 3, 25, and 29 is really, really good.
Can you click on Nathan Bem real quick and then just show like his season? Because I feel like if you're watching this
6'2",
and haven't,
203.
Yeah, so he actually had a really incredible season this year after not having a really good season, and his plus-minus numbers were bad, but he played for, the Blazers. But I will say, like, it was shocking to see his progression this year. Yeah, he had a good season, so.
Yeah, and like I said, he has decent frame. He has a very good shot. Like, there's a possibility this guy develops into a shooter at the NHL level. There's a reason why I have him in my second round and not like further than that. So I feel like its value is just, for some reason or something that I feel is not going to translate at the NHL level. And I think he's going to need to work a lot harder off the puck to be an NHL player, but he has a lot of time to learn it. So it's not really an issue for me at that point. And I mean, in the third round, they're all magic beans at that point. So
yeah.
So
were you the one that told me Nathan Beam was like shades of Wayne Gretzky, Alexander Ovechkin?
No.
Okay.
No, I would not say that. I don't know who was. He's a shade of Wayne Gretzky. Okay, let's go to the next one. They didn't pick a lot, so I'll go. I mean, it's funny because Linus Funk is a guy that I like quite a lot. Like, I don't like him like second round or first round, but I think he's a decent defenseman. He has good size, like 6'3" or something like that. Good skater, physical, and like a guy that could play on your bottom pair. Is he going to be a first pair defenseman? Obviously not, but still in the fourth round to get Linus Funk, I think it's pretty good. Francesca Delecci. It is what it is. So I would say like that's a C, because there's just nothing in there. So you might have one player that might play a couple games on your third line or your third pair or something like that, but the rest is just meh. So.
Yeah, this is a D minus.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going all the way to D. So, like
this
as
is
low
an 8.
as low
This
as
is
you
an
want.
8.
Yeah, exactly. As low as you want to go, that's where it goes.
Like, it's just like they had nothing to work with.
Yeah.
I would be so upset as the prospect Don as an Avs fan who had 3 picks. Like, I wouldn't have I don't know. It's just so tough when you're a perennial contender. It's definitely different than being a rebuilding team. You would obviously want to be a perennial contender. So I don't even think the Avs watched the draft.
No, well,
like
what's
Avs
the point?
Yeah, so you might have gotten I was when I looked, I thought Linus Funk, pretty good pick at 118. Other than that, like, not a lot to talk about here.
No.
With the value, it's not a D minus with the players. It's just like you had 3 picks. Somebody has to be probably
It's that no matter what, they didn't add any skill to the pipeline. So it's not D minus because we don't like your pick. Like, I like Linus Funk. It's D minus because there's nothing in there because he didn't have a chance to add anything. So let's jump to Columbus.
Yeah, Columbus I want to talk about for sure. Jackson Smith at 14 was a great pick, a value pick. You know, I really like this guy. But what I will say is Andrianov, I'm sorry. He had just signed for 2030, like 2 days before the draft, at his team. And I was really surprised that you said that would actually help him because you get to keep him forever. Then he gets to, ripe while he's under contract there. He's going to get a lot of playing time because he's signed. And a goalie's going to take 4 to 7 years anyway. But what I was thinking was this was going to be where Frolov went. And obviously the Hurricanes got him at 41. But the thing about this is it wasn't Ravensburgen, it wasn't Frolov, it wasn't Ivan Kovic, who probably was never going to go in this range based on his size. And you were always telling me that. But I didn't think that Columbus was the one that was going to take a goalie at this spot. And also, they left so much value on the board with the players that were there. You don't have a pick until 76, and you're going to take a run at a goalie at 20 when you could have gotten him at 31, 32, 40, whatever it was.
Yeah, and that's my question. Is like, Andrianov is like, maybe he's on the same level as Ivan Kovic. Maybe they like him more than Ivan Kovic, but he's around the same size, right? He's like a 6-foot goalie, 5'11" goalie, something like that. Like, why number 20? Like, usually those players that are, even the one that becomes good, like Dustin Wolf or UC Saros, like, they are late picks. Like, Wolf is a 7th round pick. UC Saros is what? He's like a 3rd round, 4th round pick, something like that. So why number 20? I feel it's one hell of a reach. I mean, maybe he's the best goalie of all of them, but number 20 is very high. Like, Ivan Kovic went in the 2nd round, and I don't see why Andrianov should go higher than Ivan Kovic.
Yeah. Here are the players that they left off the board. Cam Reed, who was in my top 15. Riker Lee, obviously, I think that would have been, Riker Lee he shouldn't go 20, but Bill Zonin could have. Colin Potter, Zurovsky. Obviously, these guys fell. Like, who would you have taken? I feel like a lot of the players, like Malcolm Spence, Lakovic, of course,
You get out of there at number 14 and 20 with Jackson Smith and Lyndon Lakovic. I mean, that's a winner.
And can you believe that he fell that far? Like, dude, the Predators, you have 3 first-round picks, and you're not going to use one of them on Lakovic? I mean, I get it, but Riker Lee, I get. Like, he could actually be a star. I've said this. But you have star potential with Lakovic. I mean, that was crazy. I get why the Blackhawks went Vasilov Nestersil. And if I didn't, I really zoned in on him early. But if I didn't and I wasn't doing this, I would be super upset that they didn't get Lakovic. Because I believe that Vasilov is going to be a really good player. Like, I can't say star because that would just be hard on him. But this guy is 6'6" with a ton of upside, and he hasn't even scratched the surface. With a guy, so that was the only pick I believe you can say. Like, William Horkov, I don't think that he should have went above Lakovic. Logan Hensler, I get, but, like, Zonin, I don't think that he should have went. Like,
I don't understand why he went there.
Andrianov should not have.
All the time that he was falling, I was hoping for the Habs to move up and try to snag him. Like it would have been beautiful to get out of there with Noah Dobson and Lyndon Lakovic. But I don't know. I guess they didn't like him that much. But I don't know why he went all the way to 27. And obviously he ended up in Washington and he's going to be a star somewhere. So.
Well, I hope the Blackhawks had seen one of my tweets or listened to me. Obviously not about Vasilov, but I wonder if they knew that at whatever time it was, maybe a month and a half back, that Vasilov was their pick with whatever the Maple Leafs pick was, because I feel like they zoned on him very early as well. It kind of just seemed like that was always going to happen. And I know he was ranked 46, 45, whatever it was. But there was just something about Vasilov Nestrasil to the Blackhawks that I didn't have any inside information from the Blackhawks side. I did hear from Vasilov's camp that he thought that there was serious interest there. But I mean, everybody gets interviews and stuff. So,
I would have taken
Lakovic over
Vasilov Nestrasil anyway.
Yeah, I would have too.
I love Nestrasil, but Lakovic was number 14 in my ranking, and Vasilov Nestrasil was 28 or something like that. It's still a massive difference. It's not even it's not the same tier. It's for me.
The only person I wanted over Vasilov was Lyndon Lakovic, and it was because of how good he was, and he was also ranked, very, very high. He was in my top 15. I thought this guy had immense potential. So it was shocking he fell to 27. I guess there's got to be a reason why, not character or anything like that. I'm just saying, if so many teams fell that he couldn't be taken there, there's a reason he fell. So I was shocked that Andrianov went above him. Obviously, if Lakovic had gone where he was supposed to, the Vasilov thing would have been oh my God. I was still oh my God. I was very excited. But the only thing was that Lyndon Lakovic was still there. And I really love Vasilov. I think that he's going to be a very good player. But I'm so surprised Lakovic fell that far. Other than that,
to stay on the subject,
I would say B for Columbus, because you get Jackson Smith. I think that's going to be a top 4 player in your entire defense. They had this guy ranked 4, so maybe they see him as a top 4 defenseman. I mean, a top pair defenseman. I could definitely see that 6'3" with a ton of offensive upside that he didn't really show this year in the dub. Going to NCAA level, I like it. Owen Griffin is also a really good pick at 160. Yeah, just B.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's go to the next one. The Dallas Stars. And they didn't pick before the 94th pick. And they started off with Cameron Schmidt. So they basically traded one Cameron Schmidt and picked another Cameron Schmidt. Obviously, I feel like Stankoven is better than Cameron Schmidt, or I would have Cameron Schmidt higher in my ranking. But outside of that, there's not too much that I know in those players. When I look at those names, there's not much that jumps at me. So I know Cameron Schmidt, and I feel like at 94th, it's very, very good value. Dynamic player, dynamic skater, great shot, great hands. Doesn't have much vision on the ice. I think he very tunnel vision, in the sense that if he sees in the space to shoot, he's gonna shoot, and no matter what. But there's something to work with. That's a player that can play in your top 9 in the NHL. Outside of that, I can't speak for the other ones. Mm-hmm. So I would say, considering what they have, it's probably a B-, considering the picks that they have.
Yeah, I was going to say B-. I really like the Cam Schmidt value just at 94. You get Mansgoose at 158, somebody that I really did like. So let's just put it in B-. There's not a lot to talk about here. Cam Schmidt, if he hits, he's going to be top 6. But, yeah. Then Red Wings, we're going to go, Carter Bear was great. I think that you get Eddie Genberg, who I thought was going to be closer to Philip Ekberg in the rankings, but obviously he wasn't. But I still like Eddie Genberg. I'm just shocked at the value that Philip Ekberg went. Michael Pradl, obviously that was pretty good. I think that I'm going to say B- as well. I think they left value off the board at pick 44, but I really like that Carter Bear pick. I've been saying that guy was a Stevie Y pick. His player comp was Brandon Hagel. I think that he is going to be an NHL player, and I just really, really like that. So, yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's Carter Bear is carrying this thing. I like Michael Zverchek too. And again, Borg's not a bad pick per se. It's just I think there was more value to be taken. It's not like they're missing this type of player that's like physical, big, good two-way game. They already have that. Maybe they should try to swing for upside, but I guess it didn't. But Cutter Bear is fantastic value at number 13. It's a guy that's a top 10 all day. Obviously, there was the injury, so we don't know, but top 10 all day for me. Ends Vercheck. So I would say you gave them B-. Is that what you said?
Yes.
I think B- or B, because I really, really like Carter Bear. So
yeah,
it's a good injection of talent in their pool for sure.
Last thing on the Red Wings before we move on, Malcolm Spence, Daniil Prokhorov, and Frolov and Jack Murtagh all went off the board, like in the 4 picks. I wonder if their pick would have been different. But I think you should have went Van Sage here. I think you could have went, Iz Wozniak, William Moore, Medvedev, Seneca, or how do you say his last name? Max Pesenica?
Senishka.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so, or Eric Nilsson, but Eddie Gimberg is pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to say B- and stick to that.
Cool. All right. Oh, no. Right, not the right button.
We'll do all the drafts.
Let's go to Edmonton, and same thing. Edmonton didn't have much, but Tommy Lafrenière is fine. I like the Aiden Park pick.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, he looked happy. Even Lewandowski is not bad. It's just like, is there one NHL player in there? I'm not sure. So
and Asher Barnett's pretty good.
Yeah, but for me that has to be a C or C- because they just didn't have the weapon to have a lot of skills, and I just don't like it overall.
I'm gonna say C+ just because they selected Aiden Park. It would have been C, but that was an awesome moment. He was wearing a hoodie and shorts, and his family wasn't even there. So David Lewandowski, I thought, should not have gone 117. Asher Barnett, I don't think should have went 131, and Lafrenière, 83. I think that was kind of right range, but maybe 10 picks earlier or whatever.
Did you see Riker Lee laughing at Aiden Park? When he saw him, he was selected, like he was doing an interview, and he saw him on the TV, and he got up with his short and his hoodie, and they're roommates. So
I heard that they were supposed to hang out, and he wasn't going to go to the draft, but then he had to fly on a private plane. Riker Lee had to fly on a private plane, so they didn't hang out.
I think Aiden Park lives in that area. He lives in LA or something like that. So anyway, when Riker Lee saw him with his hoodie and his shorts, he was in the middle of an interview and he started laughing because when he saw it on TV. So I thought it was pretty funny. But
that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Next one. You said what for this? You said C+?
C+ because of Aiden Park, but C probably. I just like the story.
Yeah. Well, Florida.
This one's a quick one.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I don't know much about these two, but Shamar Moses and Arvid Dra, I think, is two very, very good value pick in the 5th round and 6th round. Like, Arvid Dra is a highly, highly competitive player that plays very, very hard. He's just 5'11" or something like that, so he's not super heavy, not super big. So it's a style that's hard to translate to the NHL when you're that size. But I feel like he has the making of a bottom 6 player. And Shamar Moses is underrated. That didn't make a lot of points this season, but he does have very good shot. He's decent skater, decent size, like 6'1" or something like that. So I feel like those are two good bet. Considering what they had, that would be a C+ for me because of these two players.
I would say just C. I don't know necessarily if any of these players are going to play 200 games in the NHL just on these projections, but you never know with Florida. So I'm just going to say C, and there's not really much to talk about here.
Cool. LA
had the star of the show in the 6th or 7th round. That kid was the one that announced the pick. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, he had a lot of energy, huh?
Yeah.
He was like trying to get people to clap and shit.
Yeah. He was funny. And he was like, that's good for this crowd. But yeah, I think Christian Epperson was really good value. Same with Henry Busevich, even though I think that was the right range for him, but he played well in the Mem Cup. Obviously, his minutes kept lowering during the playoffs, but he obviously earned them and earned the respect. I think,
and it's always like that in with the London Knights anyway. It's not like it's something new that the younger players lose their minutes in the playoff or even throughout the season. So like, I'm not sure how much of a story it is, but it is still there. But I mean, if you're gonna bet on somebody, bet on a player that's playing for the London Knights, and you're probably gonna get an NHL player. Number 59, they got Wojtek Sihash, which is a very decent player. I mean, it's not bad value at all. Christian Epperson's really good. They also have Will Sharp, like their last pick at 216, which is a D that put up quite a bit of point. If I'm not mistaken, like he has like almost 50 points or something like that. I'm just gonna check to make sure. Not 50, obviously, but 28 plus 16.
combined.
Yeah. So he did pretty
44.
well, but look, minus 41 in Kelowna, but Kelowna was terrible when they traded. So, but yeah, decent size. It's hard defensively. It was all season, but outside of that, a couple good value pick, like you said, like Bruce Tevich, Sihash, and Epperson. So I would say that's a solid C plus.
All right, I would say
Maybe
B
beyond.
minus, C plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Cool. Minnesota Wild. I didn't pick until 92, no, 52. I can't see anything. Yeah,
They left value on the board. I think Adam Banak is the star of this draft. Obviously, if he hits, I think he's going to be a really good player, but he's very tiny.
Klippenstein's not bad, too.
I think this is a C. Just Adam Banak. I think, like I said, they left value on the board at 52.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they have like one like high pick, not necessarily high, but like in the second round, and they go with Theodore Hallquist. But I mean, in the fourth one, Adam Banak and Klippenstein are not bad value. I mean, they could get a top 6 player out of Adam Banak if everything hits, so it's not that bad. But what'd you give them? Like a C something?
C.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I think it's just now your team.
Yeah, the star of the show. Well, obviously they didn't pick in the first round because they traded 16 and 17 for Noah Dobson. So, and then they moved up with 41 and 49 to go to get Jarowski at number 34, which is basically exactly where I had him. So that's perfect. I just like, he's a riskier player than other players I think that he could have taken, but he's a higher upside than most player that was left on the board at that point. So that I'm perfectly fine with that swing. They even said in an interview after, like, they were mandated by the front office to like the 2 head scouts, they were mandated to find a top 6 upside player in the second round because they moved out of 16 and 17. And for them, Alexander Jarowski was a first-round player. He was a player they were considering with their pick. So, I mean, they must be happy with that. But I'm sure they always say that anyways. So, is it true? Is it not true? We don't know. But I like the pick, that's for sure, because he's very, very skilled. Aiden Papanikis, really good player in my opinion. I think he's going to be really good next year too. 6'4" center. That's really good. Bryce Pickford, the guy that can shoot the puck like no one else. In the WHL. I mean, it's really cool. It's fun that every time you watch like clips of this guy, all you hear is McKenna. but yeah, it's such a good shot for a defenseman. It's crazy, and he also knows how to trail the play and where to go to get that puck and just do a very, very good catch and release. It's not even like the one-timer thing or a slap shot. It's really like the catch and release that he has. It's very, very accurate. It's very quick. The release is amazing. After that, Arseny Radkov, I don't even know who he is. I never watched him, so I can't really speak for himself. LG Mooney in the 4th round, I was super happy about that. I'm not a small type player. I don't necessarily like them, but LG Mooney, I really like him. I think he's dynamic. I think he's extremely competitive for his size. He has tons of skills, and in the 4th round, if he's there, might as well take him. Like maybe you get a Cole Caulfield 2.0, maybe you don't, but at least you took a chance. And after that, like the other players, I went to watch them obviously because it's the Habs, so I'm gonna make videos about them most likely. But outside of like, I would say the talent stop at LG Mooney. Like Alexis Cournoyer had a weird path to the NHL or even to the QMJHL. All the other ones, it's just like they maybe play, maybe they don't. I don't know. It's hard to say at that point. But overall, with what they had, I would say it's probably a B, something like that. If you had the fight that he added Noah Dobson over that, then it's an A plus. So
I would say this is an A minus because Zurovsky, if that was true, that he was 17-16 on their board, I really do like the value there. Obviously, you get Dobson basically for 1 first-round pick and then a second if that was the case. LJ Mooney, I really like that value. Pickford, I've heard a lot of good things about him. And then Carlos Handel is a 6th-round Nick Hjalmarsson. This guy's going to block a lot of pucks, so I just really find that value really well. So, yeah, that's why I'm so high on this class. And also, if you weigh in the Dobson also, this is an A+. Like, They had one of the best drafts, and it started at 34, so they did pretty good.
Cool. So, next one, Nashville Predators, who did pretty well, too. Except maybe a little bit high on Brady Martin, but I'll let you start with that.
Yeah, Brady Martin, Reed, Riker Lee, Rombach, and Ivan Kovic, and Alex Huang.
Yeah.
Wang. Wang.
Wang. Yeah, Alex Wang.
Okay, Alex.
Yeah.
It was a really good draft. I'm giving this an A+. Yeah, I really like Rombach at 35. Ivan Kovic is really great. They took a Jacob and a Jack. That's awesome. Riker Lee, I think, has some of the highest upside in this entire class. I think Cameron Reed, definitely a top 15 player on my board, but you allow him to fall to you at 21 because Andrei Drayanov, and maybe you don't take Lynn Lakovich was the only thing, and Brady Martin, I think, is a top 12 player, not 5, but other than that, you did good. A+, in my opinion. First A+, or A. Yeah. I'll say A, not A+.
I would give an A+ if they didn't take Brady Martin at number 5. Yeah. That's my issue. Like if they took like a Porter Martone, if they took a James Higgins, something like that, that would be an A+ for sure. But Brady Martin, I think, is a little bit of a reach at number 5. Not that I don't like him. I really, really do like him. It's just like he doesn't have top 5 type of skills. So, and he's also just 6 foot, right? So at the NHL level, it's not the same thing as hitting players in the OHL. So anyways, outside of that, Cameron Reed, like you said, I think you said it perfectly. Like they let him fall to him. He's the type of player that he's the top 15 pick all day long because of the skills, the competitiveness, the smarts on the ice. But he's a 6 foot defenseman, left shot. So it's the type of player you don't want to take in the top 15, I would say. So the fact that they got him at 21 is really good. Riker Lee, amazing value there. Jacob Rombach, very good value. Jack Havanovic was your favorite goalie. I think he's really good too. Just a little bit small. Alex Wang, really, really like him. I'm not sure if he's an NHL player, but I think he has upside, and he moves the puck really well. Very good skater. He's very thin though, so there's work to do. But overall, the draft it's an A. If there was an Agins, then there would be an A++. So yeah, very good. New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, I'll go. All right, so they didn't have a pick before the second round with the number 50, and they were with Conrad Fondrick and Benjamin Keevan. Mason Moe also in the third round, which are not bad. Roosevelt, same thing, not bad. Like they're not exciting pick by any mean. Like there's no way you look at Fondrick or Keevan or Mason Moe and you tell yourself like those are home run type of picks, but they are serviceable players. They are players that have a chance to play in the NHL, that have a chance to have like a long career of like bottom 6 players that are not fun necessarily to play again, especially Benjamin Keevan. So like it's not bad. I would say like maybe a C+, but I wouldn't say that I would be excited if I was a New Jersey Devils fan.
You know, I'm gonna also give this a C plus B minus range because I do like what they added. Like Mason Moe at 90, I thought was a phenomenal steal. Kevin is the bronze medal winner for them in overtime. I got to talk to him. I really do like him. California kid going on the other coast, so he's still going to be by water. But I think that this guy is probably a second round pick, and you get him in the third round, early third round, first pick of the third round, but still. Or, I mean, no, actually, he's a late second. It was 64, 65. So, yeah, so he's still late second. Pretty good value, though. Conrad Fondrick, pretty good pick at 50 as well. So, yeah, I like what you added. It's not any superstar, obviously, at these ranges, but you did good with the players, with the picks that you had. So, yeah. Yeah.
B minus, C plus?
I would say C plus more.
All right. New York
and then the Islanders. Yeah. I think they had the best class in the entire draft. Schaefer, Eklund, Aitchison, Prokhorov, Luca Romano. It kind of stops, or there's a big drop off there.
Sam Larella's pretty good too.
Yeah, but like those,
obviously, it's not the same level, obviously. But I think overall, I mean, if you get out of the first round with Matthew Schaefer, Victor Eklund, and Cation Aitchison, it's really, really good. Like,
yeah, and then Prokhorov and Luca Romano, who's one of my favorite players in the class. This is an A++. Like, yeah. Matthew Schaefer, obviously number one player. Then you get a top 10 player in Victor Eklund, talent-wise, and then Cation Aitchison could have gone top 12. Daniil Prokhorov could have went top 30. Luca Romano could have definitely went in the second round. So, yeah, A++. Yeah.
I wonder how close they came to getting like into the top 6 or something like that for James Higgins with the 2 picks they got from Montreal.
I would have rather just had Eklund and Aitchison.
Then Higgins?
Yes. Yeah. I think with what they did was phenomenal. Like Eklund and Higgins can both be stars. Aitchison could also be a player for your team for a long time that is a great playoff player. Like his body is there. He just needs to work on his skating. I think Higgins is definitely top 3 in my board, but they both have similar obstacles to face because of their size, but Victor Eklund plays a lot bigger. He's a play driver, offensively skilled. So would it shock me if Victor Eklund was the better player from him or James Higgins on both ends of the ice? No, it would not surprise me if Victor Eklund was better.
All right. I don't see it that way. I think James Higgins is like superior, but I mean, Victor Eklund is one of my favorite players in the draft, so it's not like I don't like him. It's just like he's so competitive and he plays big, even though he's like 170 pounds. He does have skill, but it's not like the same type of pure skills as James Higgins. Like he doesn't have the same handling, distribution at full speed like Higgins can do, but I mean, he's going to be such a good player in the top 6 anyway. I'm not sure if he has star potential. I'm not sure I see it that way, but I see him like a guy that can put like 60, 65 points, but very, very hard to play against, even though he's smaller. Like I always say, like he makes me think of a Seth Jarvis, right? So Seth Jarvis, it's not a player that's fun to play against, and he put up a lot of points on the board. So if they get that, that's amazing for them. All right. Next one. There you go. So I'll let you start with that one.
Yeah, I think getting Malcolm Spence with your first pick is just the perfect player. Really good upside. I think that this was phenomenal. He's a player that they could have honestly taken, 12, and there'd be a little bit of ooh and ahs, but it's not far behind of where he could have been taken. Like if they had the 16th pick and they left it up to the Penguins there, I think people would have been like marking them with Malcolm Spence or mocking them with it. Sean Barnhill, I think is good value there. Like Zeb Lindgren, I was surprised he was 139, but other than that, with Malcolm Spence, I'm going to give it a B minus. You didn't really add much, but Malcolm Spence is a really good upside play, and you needed to take him. That was a steal.
Yeah, they added an NHL player. Malcolm Spence is going to play in the NHL for a long time, so it's more of a they took a guy that has a very good floor but doesn't have a lot of upside. Consistency, even though the guy was born like I think 22nd of September, something like that, so very late for the draft. Like he's not very consistent in his offense. He didn't put a lot of points on the board. I think he's more of a high competitor defensive guy, but outside of that, they added Sean Barnhill, who's like a 6'5" player, right shot defenseman who skates really well. Even Passmore, he's a very physical defenseman too. So they added like some players that have a chance to play in NHL and a sure shot NHL player. So I mean, it can't be under B at that point, especially when you don't have a shot in the first round. So you said what you?
B minus.
Yeah,
so
B
under. Yeah.
No, but I mean, I couldn't see that as a C, but it can be a B minus. That I'm fine with B minus. So, yeah. Ottawa. There you go.
You can go first.
Yeah. So at number 23, they went with Logan Hensler, which I think is very good value for Hensler. He's a guy that has close to top 16 skills, in my opinion, especially with his skating and the fact that he's 6'2". He's pretty heavy. He's like 196 pounds or something like that. Played in the NCAA. Tough beginning of the season, but good second half of the season. Very much more assertive with the puck and without the puck. Outside of that, like I know Bruno Itzan is not a bad pick, but there's not much about Lucas Beckman. I didn't know they took Lucas Beckman. So that's a really good pick in my opinion because he's a goalie that I really like this season. So overall, I mean, Logan Hensler, it's going to be really good for them because now they have Carter Yakimchuk from last year and Logan Hensler. So they're like really building that right side of the defense. I would give that like a B minus, I think. Yeah, because everything else is nothing crazy. So Logan Hensler is basically carrying this draft class.
Yeah, I like Logan Hensler a lot. In my honest opinion, like this is a C plus, just because like it is Logan Hensler or nothing. Lucas Beckman, obviously, like you said, good goalie, but yeah, I think that it's just you could get a top 4 defenseman in Logan Hensler, so
Yeah.
it can't be like a D or a C, but C plus I think is good basically.
All right, I say B minus, and I don't like them, so I'm generous. Philadelphia.
You don't like who? Oh,
Ottawa.
Senators.
Yeah, annoying fans.
So I will. I mean, don't you? No, don't like Canadian fans want all like, Canadian teams to do well because like they haven't had a Stanley Cup, or is it the exact opposite?
Nah, I couldn't care less. I really don't care about who wins the Stanley Cup unless it's the Canadians. The rest,
Gotcha.
no. Like I'm super happy for Florida to be there like 3 years in a row and winning 2 in a row. Like I love dynasties, so I really don't care where they come from. I'm super happy for Edmonton too. Like obviously, I was cheering for Edmonton because if I have to choose between a Florida team or a Canadian team at that point, unless if it's Ottawa or if it's Toronto, I'm never gonna cheer for them. I wish they just fail every single year, but like Calgary I can cheer for, Vancouver I can cheer for, Edmonton I can cheer for. That's fine. But honestly, I'm a sucker for dynasties, so I just want good teams to keep winning all the time.
I love it. Nice. And the team that drafted like they have a dynasty was the Flyers. I like every single player that they took. Porter Martone, Jack Nesbitt, Carter Amico, Jack Murtagh, Shane Van Sage, Matthew Guard. Unbelievable picks from
Even Max
Jack
Westergaard.
Nesbitt. What?
Even
And Luke.
even Westergaard is a good pick in the 5th round. It's
I think that they did phenomenal. Obviously, a lot of Flyers fans are mad about Jack Nesbitt, but let's say you get Jack Nesbitt at 22, and then you get Shane Van Sage at 31 or Jack Murtagh at 31. No one's batting an eye. So what you basically did was trade up to get your guy. You also got Trevor Zegras in this draft class, too, at whatever pick that was. So incredible draft here. I give it an A+. I think that they were one of the top. I think that they're one of the top 2 or 3 teams in this class. Porter Martone was just great value. I went on and on with him this year, just based on how skilled he is, his vision, his playmaking, his shot is great. The skating is the only issue, but I think it's overblown. Jack Nesbitt is 6'4" center, 6'4" center that has that kind of old school play to him. Shout out Greg Boyson from CHGO. That he kind of caught me onto that. I really like Carter Amico. Obviously, New Wave Hockey Link had him like 16, 17, 18, and now he's on his favorite team, Jack Murtagh. Really liked watching him in summer scouting in November. I think he's a two-way center that is going to, or left wing, going to give you a lot of defensive play. Transition game is good. Shane Van Sage can use the body. Matthew Gard is 6'5" now, so I think that he also brings that added upside. Love the draft.
Really good draft too. I'm not sure I would put A+ because they moved ahead to get Jack Nesbitt. So I think like I like Jack Nesbitt. I had him all the way up to 16 at some point, and then I pushed him back to like 22 or something like that. But Porter Martone at number 6 is amazing because I love Porter Martone. Even Jack Nesbitt is a good pick. It's just I don't like moving up to get him. But even same for Carter Amico. I'm not like super high on him. I mean, I'm not high at all on Carter Amico. But it's I understand what he is. He's not my type. But Jack Murtagh, Shane Van Zage, Matthew Gard, even Max Westergaard, they're all very good picks for their position. So this is an A. It's just not an A+ for me.
Yep. I mean, either way, it's an A. So
yeah,
good draft. And then
Very
Pittsburgh Penguins, who might get McKenna, which everybody keeps saying they're getting McKenna next year. He's a Blackhawk, everybody. I just want you to know that. I hope the NHL accepts my request, and I'm going to be calling the pick in, even no matter who it is. I'm saying McKenna. No, I'm kidding. I never reached out. But I will say...
You're going to be that kid from LA, but
Yeah.
It's going to be you.
Me wearing Crocs, a long hair down. I will say this. They drafted a lot of people.
Yeah.
I want you to look at 201. That's going to be the Habs 2C in a couple years.
Kale Doc?
Yeah.
He's not related.
He's K Doc. It doesn't matter.
Okay, Kate. Well, let's hope he's R2C next year. But
Well, I will say Quinn Bouchine, he does the moon water. I really like that. He puts a glass
Beauchene.
outside. Beauchene. I think I said that correctly. No, I'm kidding.
Bouchine.
Bouchine. Quinn Bouchine, yeah. He does the moon water, which is awesome. It was one of the funniest things I've heard all year, which it was the weirdest pregame ritual where he leaves a glass of water outside so the moonlight hits and then he drinks it. I really do like that. Charlie Trethway is a Penguins fan, fell to 73. They got Peyton Kettles, who the Bunker Boys had on. He broke his hand at 16 years old. William Horkoff, I really do like. I think they could have went Lyndon Lakovich. That's who I would have picked, but his dad's a player, Sean Horkoff, so obviously it doesn't matter. He had sustained success, and he's a lot taller. Bill Zonen's really good. Ben Kindle is the one that was interesting. I met this guy. I had multiple waters with him at the combine. He could drink some water, I'll tell you that. This guy had went through 2 or 3 of them. The ice didn't even phase him on his teeth, so he has a lot of enamel. That doesn't mean anything. Literally, Kindle, I think, is a good player. Just there is issues with some skating issues, as well as he's under 5'11". But you're taking a guy, or risk on a guy. This is a Kyle Dubas complete pick. I wonder if Kyle Dubas was looking over when I was interviewing him because they were sitting down next to me. I didn't even think they could be because I didn't think Kindle was going to be in this range. And they didn't have 12 at that point. But let's just say this is a B+ because I think they could have went into the Carter Bear range. They could have got Eklund. They could have got Lakovich in some ways. They left some value off, but they got so many players that it doesn't matter. I think that there's 4 5 NHL players that could hit from this. So this could be an A minus, but I'm going to say, B plus because of the value left on the board. And it's all about value. We have no idea what any of these players are going to do, but it's just where were the players valued. And like Nesbitt, like Kendall, maybe they were a lot higher, but I would not particularly pick Kendall at 11. I would have traded down. Or I would have traded the 11th pick for whatever someone was offering instead of the 12th, even though whatever. I don't think any team was picking Kindle, but that's just my spiel on that.
Mm. Yeah, I kind of agree with that because obviously it's a great draft when you look at all the names. And like we can only judge with the information that we have today. We don't have the help of hindsight from five years from now. So, but like Benjamin Kindle is a good player. There are like I think Elite Prospect has him somewhere like around 14 or 15, like close to there. So not that far. I think it's high for me. Benjamin Kindle at 11, it's high. There was too many good players left on the board, whether it's Justin Carbonneau or Jackson Smith or Carter Bear, Eklund. Like those are all players I would have taken. So basically, all their choice in the first round, they left talent on the board. And that is the reason why I couldn't give them an A. But every single player is a good bet. Like Peyton Kettles is a good bet. Charlie Chartaway, same thing. Brady Peddle, same thing. Gabriel Degg is a big goalie, athletic, that had a very, very rough year, but was seen as the next big shot Quebecer goalie of the future, but it just didn't work as of right now. But he could get back on track. So Beauchesne, good pick. So a lot of very, very good pick. A lot of NHL players, like you said, it's just I don't know exactly where the upside is. Like they left a little bit of upside up with every single pick that they've taken. So I'm not. If I give an A, it would be an A minus, but I'm tempting to say that it's a B plus.
Yeah. So B plus for me, B plus for you, A minus, somewhere in that range. But yeah, and they took a lot of players. So San Jose, I think they did really well with Michael Misa, Ravensburg, and Wang. Cole McKinney was great. I like Richard Gallant, but he fell to the 7th round for a reason. I would say, I saw Shang. He posted like Shakir Madulin walked so that he, whatever number, I don't know his name. I want this cut. I don't know how to say any of these guys' names. Like, how, can you say like the name that the Sharks picked at 115 for me?
This one, I don't know. Magomed Sultanov? Yeah, Ilyas Magomed Sultanov.
Ilyas Magomed Sultanov.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's easier than Muka Mudalin or whatever it is.
And then, can you Zach Sharp? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So
so hard.
They took the hardest name and then the easiest name back to back. I really do like that. I'm Simon Wang. I think if someone was going to take him, it was going to be like the Sharks, the Preds, the Ducks, like the Blackhawks, any team with multiple first round picks and then early second right then and there. I do like the value of taking Cole McKinney. I thought that 53 was way too far for him. Joshua Ravensbergen is also a value pick. I think that they just did value, upside, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to say A minus because you get Michael Meese, you get Ravensbergen, you get Wang, Cole McKinney.
Yeah.
It's like A minus. It's in that range.
I agree with that. Michael Misa obviously is the big thing here, is the player that you would have liked to have. Joshua Ravensbergen, he's not my favorite goalie, but I mean, he's a very good goalie and he's athletic and he's 6'5", so it's very easy to project in the future. Waxy Wang, Simon Wang, whatever, I'm not sure. Like, they had Blake Fiddler and they have nobody on the right side. Like, it's basically their entire right side is going to be Luca Cagnoni. It's gonna be rough, but I don't know. I would have went with Fiddler way over Wang. I think Wang it's a hell of a project. Like, it could work. Like, don't get me wrong. The guy is like he's towering. He's like 6'6" or 6'8" or whatever, and he skates really, really well for his size. Not just for his size, he skates really, really well, bar none. But like he can't make a pass, he can't handle the puck, he can't do anything with the puck on his stick. Like there's nothing that works when he has the puck on his stick. So there's a long way to go between where he is it now and where the NHL is. Like it's unfathomable for me how he's going to get there. So Blake Fiddler would have been a way better choice for me, especially since they have nothing on the right side. But Cole McKinney at 53 is really good value. So overall, I think it's a decent draft with the pick that they had. Michael Miso was a no-brainer. So like an A-, but I'm not necessarily impressed by it. Next one. Seattle Kraken. My turn, your turn?
You can go.
All right. So here at number 8, they went with Jake O'Brien. I really thought they were going to go with Radim Murtka. I think they needed to go with a defenseman at some point in the first round, but I feel like they will never take a defenseman in the first round. Looks like it. But they got Blake Fiddler at 36, so like all is well for them. Somebody they get out of there with Jake O'Brien at number 8 and Blake Fiddler at number 36. They could pick not a single other player, and it would be a win. Like I think it's exactly what they needed. Big shot, big right shot defenseman, and a very good center. Now they're gonna have like only centers in in their top 9. Like basically everybody's gonna be able to take a draw and win the draw. But Jake O'Brien is a fantastic player, one of my favorite all season. So I think this is really good. I would say it's easy A-, even maybe A, considering the fact that they got Blake Fiddler at 36.
Yeah, I think that this is I'm gonna call it a B+, just because of the after Blake Fiddler, they just took a run on defensemen, and then obviously they just took a swing at 218. So it's Jake O'Brien, Blake Fiddler, and then a bunch of defensemen that could hit or could not.
Well, I got it's not a bad swing, but and it's a 5th round pick, so I mean, yeah, most of the time it's a lost pick anyway. But I think he's a good swing.
I did like that they took Will Reynolds and, just a bunch of D after. I do like Blake Fiddler. That was a great pick at that range, because it basically allowed you to take Jake O'Brien, who was falling, and I do really like Jake O'Brien a lot. So, yeah, B+ in my opinion. Yeah, I think they did good. Cool. Yeah, Blues, I'm very happy with the 3 players they took. Justin Carboneau, best shot in the entire draft. I just want to shout out my guy, Louv Herenstam, who I could not believe went this far. I mean, 179, I was like freaking out, like, oh my God, the Blackhawks could get him. We obviously didn't, but he's going to be very good in my opinion. This is going to be a steal, so I was really shocked that he fell that far. Fedorov, I think, is really good value at 147. One of my favorite picks at that slot, or in the 5th round. So yeah, I'm gonna give this I'm gonna give it a B-, because it didn't really have a lot, but also it's closer to a B because you could have 2 or 3 NHL. Like you could hit on every single one of these guys, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, for me it's going to be a B+ because first I was just thinking about number 8 in my ranking. So for them to get him at number 19 is really, really good value. But I also feel like Fyodorov and Louv are great picks where they were taken. Like those could all be NHL players, like you said, but they also injected a lot of skills with Justin Carbonneau at number 19. And usually when they take a winger in that range, they end up with a very good player like Snugarud, something like that. So I believe in St. Louis. I think that's a B+ draft for me. Even though it's not a lot of players, with what they had, they did very good. Next one, Tampa Bay. There you go. I'll start with that. So in round 2, they went with Ethan Zata, which is basically a projected bottom 6 player. I don't feel like there's a chance he's going to be a top 6 player or even middle 6. It's really just he's a guy that's aggressive on the puck, heavy on the puck. He's gonna go in the corner. He's gonna fight along the board for the puck. Like a useful player, but it's not like a high upside. Even though like he was taken at 56, so there's not a lot of high upside player at 56 anyway. And it's a body that has a good chance to play in the NHL. So if you can get a player at 56 that has a good chance to play in the NHL, and you're Tampa Bay and you never get to pick anything, and when you pick somebody in the first round, they don't want to play for you. Well, I mean, at some point, I feel like that's a success. It's a player that's going to play most likely, and outside of that, most of them, I don't know them, but I'm not impressed by any other names. So it's I would say like it's a C. That's all.
I'm going to go with yeah, I think C is probably the perfect fit. Zada is good value at 56. Aiden Foster was surprising that he fell that far to 127. I kind of was higher on him. 151, you get Everett Baldwin, who was an interesting, like, could he have gone in the fourth round? Yeah, of course. But could he have also been a seventh round pick? Yeah. So, I mean, you're a fifth round. I think that this is a class where nothing really pops out at you. You kind of left value on the board at 56 too, but Lightning aren't really used to having draft picks as well. So, like, they trade a lot of them. So getting Zata was actually pretty good. Will he ever be a Lightning? I have no idea because they do trade a lot of their young talent because they're always contending. But I think it was a good start for them.
All right. Do the next one. Toronto, which didn't have a pick 2 until like end of second. So, well, same thing here basically. They took Tinus Leclobar, which is a player that I know of. It's a player that I've watched a couple of times. It's not like I know a lot about him, but he never struck me as a good player. I think like he's decent. He has a chance to play in the NHL. Same thing with Harry Nancy. I think he has a chance to play in the NHL. In which capacity? Like maybe as a 13th forward or a fourth line forward. And same thing with Tinus Leclobar. It's probably like a replacement type level of defenseman. But I would say that's a C minus for me. Even though there's two players that I quite like, it's just not great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is a C plus. I'll give him a C plus. I like Tyler Hopkins. I like William Bell. There's not really much to talk about here. Obviously, Toronto Maple Leafs, they didn't really have a pick yet till 64, so they did go with their third and fourth round picks. Maybe we see an NHL or two here. I know Tyler Hopkins is probably going to be a little popular there, so yeah, I'm going to say C plus. Yeah, for Utah had a pretty good draft in my opinion.
Yeah,
getting Caleb Desnoyers was really good. Max was
Sinishka.
really good. Oh yeah, Max Sinishka was really good. Other than that, I think that it was just a lot of swings. So, just getting Caleb Desnoyers instead of Brady Martin makes this. Because imagine they took Brady Martin, like here, it would have been looked at as a lot worse. So, they took the guy that they should have taken. That's all I'll say.
And I think they get two players. I think Max Sinishka is going to play in the NHL. Again, in which capacity, I don't know. Maybe he's probably a third pair defenseman. I'm not sure he's a top 4 defenseman, but Caleb Desnoyers is going to be top 6 center, two-way center for them in the future. It's going to kind of insulate Logan Cooley. Cooley's going to be able to do his stuff on the first line, and Caleb Desnoyers is going to be able to be the hard matchup type of a guy. So it's perfect. It's outside of those two, meh. But those two together, I think it's very good. So I don't know. Is it a B minus, something like that? I don't know.
I say C plus.
Yeah, the Caleb Desnoyers is good enough for me to be a B minus, I think.
Okay.
C plus with Caleb Desnoyers. What is that? All right.
Yeah. So this one, I really like every single player that they took. I thought it was really good value everywhere. Matthew Lansing, I just want to touch on him for a sec. I don't think he should have been 207. I think he should have been around 125, somewhere in that range. I thought that he showed out pretty well. Kieran Dervin, I really did like. I got to talk to him. He thought the Blackhawks might have been interested, so he was drafted 1 pick before. Maybe they were, but it was unfortunate. Medvedev, I do like this pick at 47.
Yeah.
And the prize is Braden Coots, who I actually marked here at 15. I really do like this guy. Definitely a 200-foot center that could do it all. So it's just a slam dunk. I'm going to call it a B class, because you got a lot of players that I really liked. So, yeah, B.
Yeah, I'll go with B minus. I really like Brandon Coots too. I think he fits also in Vancouver. They need centers, and he's going to be a good center for them. Alexei Medvedev is a very good goalie. He's not like one of my favorite in the class, but I understand like to take a bet on him at 47. I have no problem with that. And like you said, Matthew Lansing is pretty good too. So I would say with B minus, B minus. I'm good with B minus. That's what it is. I have nothing else to say. Let's go with Vegas. Vegas at number 55, they went with Jacob Wozniak, and they also went with Matteo Nabar at 85. What's his name? Weirmare? I don't know. Say his not last name. Yeah, Alex. And there's Jokfist. So
Gustav.
the 2 in the 6th round, I'm not too sure, but I feel like Wozniak at 55 is really good. And same thing with Matteo Nabar. Same thing with Matteo Nabar. I think it's very good value at 85. Like, I'm not sure I would have taken him in the 2nd round, but that deep in the 3rd round, I'm very open to Matteo Nabar there. So. Considering what they had, that would be like a C plus or a B minus, something like that.
I think that Wozniak is probably excited that he was the first player taken on the team, because going to 55 is tough, but now you're probably one of the best Vegas prospects in their pool, it's a lot better. Well, that's why I said one of, because Connolly is really good, but Wozniak, I really did not think he was going to fall that far. It was really interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a C plus again, because I could see one player coming out, and that's Wozniak. Maybe Mateo comes out, but that's still a long shot. For sure.
Well, in the 3rd round, they're always long shot, anyways.
But Capitals stole this draft. They stole it. Lyndon Lakovich and Milton Gastrin at 37.
Yeah.
I mean, how did they do that? And then they got the discount Matthew Schaefer at 96 just because of his name.
Discount. Yeah, not even written the same way. It's Schaffer. Maxime Schaffer.
M. Schaffer. Jackson Crowder. And then Aaron Dockfwist. That was correct pronunciation. Yes. So, yeah, I think you see 2 players. I think one of them could be a superstar in Lyndon Lakovich. And then the other, Maxim Schaefer. Milton Gastrin could also be a very good player. And Schaefer could also be a good player. Jackson Crowder. So I'm going to say, I will say A minus here. And not because of anything other than the values that they got. They were at 27 and they got my player that was at 13 on my board. And then Milton Gastrin was I could have seen him go middle 1st round if the right team took him. So I'm going to go A minus, even though that's a lot higher than a lot of the other teams that I had, selected or graded. But you got to think about values here. I'm thinking values all the way. I cannot believe they got Lyndon Lakovich 27.
Yeah, essentially the same. I think they basically added a top 6 forward and a 3rd line centerman for their future. Like, how you do that at 27 and 37, I don't know, but it's the NHL. Sometimes they take players. I don't know. I feel like it was obvious to take Lyndon Lakovic earlier than that, but it's just my opinion. The NHL teams have the resources to make decisions. Not that they don't make wrong decisions often, but it's just anyway. I feel like Lyndon Lakovic at 27 is such fantastic value. Just that on its own is A minus, and you add Milton Gastrin over that and Maxime Schaffer. So yeah, I think it's really good. So next one and last one, the Winnipeg Jets. At number 1, they went with Sasha Boumedienne, who It's not one of my favorite. I didn't have him in my first round. I know a lot of people did by the end of the year, especially after the U18s. I try not to let the U18s influence my draft ranking as much as I guess I think most people. It's just one tournament of a couple games, best player in your country altogether. So, like, I'm not sure I like that setup to basically make decisions on player. But he was really good at the U18s. He was very average, a little bit all over the place in the NCAA. And outside of that, Klingzel is a very good pick, I think, in the fifth round. But like nothing is jumping. Like there's not a single player in there that I really really like. Like Klingzel, I think is good value. Even Sacha Boumediene, I think is good value at number 28, but he's really not my favorite player. So that's for me that's a C minus.
Yeah, you know, Victor Klingzel actually was the one that said Sacha Boumediene was the hardest player he's ever had to play against. So it was interesting that they ended up on the same team. I think Sacha Boumediene actually raised up on my board based on how like gracious Victor Eklund was talking to, or Victor Klingzel was talking about him, because it sounded like this guy was a mosquito, was never going to get off your hip. I do like the picks that they had, but at the same time, I continue to believe that they left value on the board for a lot of these teams. Boumediene is a player in the NHL. Obviously, they think they missed out on Lakovic. Maybe they would have taken him at 27. If he would have got past 27, but obviously we will never know. But the thing is, like Boumediene to Lakovic, I think there's a huge drop off. So I'm gonna say C plus here. I like Victor Klingzel. I cannot believe he fell to 156. I think that is just terrible. Maybe he never plays in the NHL, but I really am higher on him than consensus. Other than that, Owen Martin's a good player too. I think that they could get two players in this class, but it's none that are going to really impact your team. So it can't be that high, and it also can't be too low, because Boumediene is also a good player. So, yeah. Who do you think did the best in this class? Comment that down below, but I want to hear Blue Chips prospects answer first.
Well, the Islanders, I think, is by far the one that's winning this thing. I think Chicago did pretty well too. No, for real. Like I'm not. I think they did well. I think Frondel is the type of player that they needed, and they added two very good swings too. Philadelphia did really good, and also it's Calgary that took Rejny and Potter, and then also swung a lot of players later. Yeah, so Calgary too. Those are basically my favorite, I think.
Yeah, I like Islanders. The Sharks did pretty good. I think the Flyers did pretty good outside of the Nesbitt thing, but also they said that there was 3 teams in the teens that probably would have taken him. I think the Blackhawks did phenomenal too. Like those are probably my top 4 teams based on value of the draft weekend. I think the Montreal Canadiens did one of the best, like top 5. You get Dobson, who should never even be on the open market. Let's just be clear. Yeah. That doesn't make sense. Like Islanders,
it's okay.
You got good value on your picks, but you didn't get a good trade, as well as you could have had him and Matthew Schaefer for years. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, that's besides the fact. Like, other than draft boards, I would also say the Capitals had a pretty good one because of the Lakovic thing. Just because you shouldn't have been able to get Lakovic. I like Calgary with what they did. I like Vancouver stealing Coots. I really do like Coots a lot. I think Jackson Smith with Columbus, their grade takes a hit because Andrianov, you're not going to get till 2030, and that just doesn't make sense. Like, for anybody out there watching, like, what is this guy saying? You're drafting a goalie for the next regime. Like, That's what's happened.
I have a question for you. Of all the players that were left on the board at 16 and 17, is there any combination of those players that are to you the same value as Noah Dobson?
Well, it would have been like you would have had to do like Eklund, Lakovic, Kayshawn Aitchison, and they did that. But it's not you would need like 2. You would need a pick in the top 10 and 16. but you kind of got that with Victor Eklund, and you kind of got that with Aitchison, because I could have seen Aitchison and Eklund go 9-11 or 9-12, and I wouldn't have been surprised. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
I would not have been surprised. So I think they did the best they could have done, but I still do not believe that it was the right decision because of the player you just drafted, which was a left-handed defenseman in Matthew Schaefer. You need to help him out with a right-handed defenseman. And he didn't want that much money. It's not like he wanted 13, 14 million. He's your franchise defenseman. He's somebody that has put up point totals. You pay him the money. They're a team, like, right-handed defensemen now are going for so much money and assets and capital. Like, you could have got Peterka, you could have got a lot.
Like, Buffalo paid Peterka for Kesselring.
Yeah, like, dude, Buffalo might have gave you Peterka and 9, like depending on what you're getting.
Like, Peterka is about the ceiling of Victor Eklund, basically, right? Like, Peterka is a 70-point player who's intense, who skates like the wind. So it's like, I don't know, and they got Kesselring. So for me, like, I was looking at it because when I saw that Eklund was still on the board and they took Aitchison is not necessarily my favorite. I understand, like, the appeal of him, but he's not necessarily my favorite. I think the skating is a problem. I think the decision making is a problem. I think he gets himself out of the play a lot to hit player, which is a problem. We have a player like that in Montreal, and it's a problem. But it's like, I don't think I can find 10 right shot defensemen that are better than Noah Dobson in the NHL. So the way I was thinking about it is like you guys took Lev Shunov last year at number 2. Basically, what you would love for Lev Shunov to become is something like Noah Dobson, a guy that can defend, that has size, that skates like the wind, but also can put up points on the board, right? So I'm like, the value is just so good, and you get him in his prime. It's not a magic bean. It's not something, maybe he hits his ceiling, maybe he's way lower his ceiling, maybe he doesn't make it. It's like, you know what you're getting, and he's locked for 8 years. It's I don't understand how we get a player of that caliber with 2 mid-first round pick. It's just, it's beyond me. I'm super happy about it.
Yeah.
But, like,
I would be too.
It's yeah.
And, like, the Islanders got the best players, the best scenario of players they could have got. Like, seriously. If it was the Habs, you would have probably got Eklund and Keishon Aitchison, whatever it is, or you still could have gotten Carbonneau. You still could have gotten Lekovic. You still could have gotten all these guys that we were like, if they're there, you take them. You got the guys that we didn't think were going to be there. So,
but there's still question marks.
There's 100. I mean,
all those players,
got a
like
top 10 right-handed defenseman for basically nothing.
All those players, you think about them as their ceilings, but the reality is that most of them will not hit their ceilings.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's crazy value. It's and 9.5 was also a good contract. So
that contract was great, but you wanted Zurovsky at 17, right? So you basically traded 1 first-round pick for Zurovsky or for Dobson because you already got a first-round pick of what you.
It's what they said. Is that true? Said. We don't know, but
I mean, I was with Marco D'Amico the entire time, and he's the one that broke the Dobson news. Like, this guy is tapped in. He said this first. He was like, Zurovsky was the guy they wanted, and he has inside info. Like, this guy is somebody you definitely want to follow if you're any Habs fan. Like, RG Media does incredible work, and he's like one of the guys that does so much of the breaking news stuff. I feel that he was like, he had inside information on that. I mean, he told me he did, but I'm just saying, like, I feel that was true.
It's
like,
clear
they wanted
that
Zurovsky.
He breaks a lot of stuff for the Habs, so.
But he also said that if Zurovsky wasn't Russian, he would probably be in the teens as well. Like, even before, it was just, there's a lot of risk. You don't get to see him as much. He doesn't play in the OHL. Like, blah blah blah. A lot of this stuff, you know. So Zurovsky's one of the best puck handlers in the entire class, and he fell that far. So I feel like you guys got a steal. And Dobson, like I continue to say, like, whatever Kent Hughes is doing and co, like, they're creating like a dynasty quickly. They stole Demidov. They didn't get Mitchkov, but they got Reinbacher, who's probably going to be a locked and loaded right-handed defenseman. Like Dobson was a multiplier for you guys, so now you could have that like right-handed defenseman on your second line or second pair for like the next 10 years. You stole Cole Hudson. Could you believe? What is or Lane? Sorry, you stole Lane, and what is Lane and like Dobson gonna do together? Like that's gonna be crazy if that's who they pair them up with, because I don't think that they would pair up Lane and Reinbacher.
What I like is, at some point I think Lane Hudson is going to be with Reinbacher and Dobson is going to be with Gooley. Like that would make a very good defensive defenseman on each pair and a very good puck moving defenseman on each pair. But right now, like next year, we're going in with like Hudson probably on the first pair, can move the puck with the best of them. Second pair, you're going to have Dobson, who's going to move the puck with the best of them. And on the third pair, you're going to have Mike Matheson, who can skate and move the puck really, really well too. It's so important for the transition and the breakout to have good skating and good passing defensemen to move the play forward and create offense on the other side. And basically every single pair is going to have a high-end puck-moving defenseman on it. It's I did not expect that. Yeah, it makes me happy. And today we added Bolduc for Mailloux, which Mailloux was basically redundancy at this point because like you don't need Mailloux if you already have Noah Dobson and you have Reinbacher in the pipeline. And Bolduc was really good last season with St. Louis, especially since Montgomery came in. So, I mean, yeah, it's cool. I'm happy.
I mean, that's a dynasty you guys are building, if it all hits. And then Line A is somebody we don't even talk about, but he probably signs a team-friendly deal in the next coming days or so. But yeah, I really like what you guys are building. So, yeah, comment down below what you guys think we should do for the offseason. I got a couple people that said that they want to definitely come on at the draft. So, like Shane Mallory from Sirius XM is going to come on. There's going to be some really cool people over the offseason. So, definitely check us out on Spotify and YouTube and our links in the description. But thank you guys all for this. It was an awesome draft year. It was surreal for just this year, and 2026 I think is going to be a lot better too. Yeah. So
onto the McKenna race now.
Onto the McKenna race. Miserable for McKenna. So there you go.
All right. Thank you for watching, people. Peace.